Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of October 13th through the 19th. Today is Saturday, October 19th. So this week I was able to complete 2 books. I started 2 more books. I'm continuing to work on my Incantation socks, so we'll do a little bit of a Yarnie update. I do have my 3rd week of the Twilight Countdown to Halloween yarn skein to open with you, so we'll do that closer to the end, and then we'll do a little bit of a catch up on what happened with me during the week. So let's get into it. So the first book that I finished this week was my audiobook, which was Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookshop by Emmeline Duncan. This is the first book in the Halloween bookstore mystery series. So I was reading this one as part of the Readalong, Knitalong that is being hosted by M from M's Books Are Everywhere. This is a standard cozy mystery about a woman who owns a bookshop, and she ends up finding a dead body and becoming an amateur sleuth. I mean, it's your typical like cozy mystery setup. But for whatever reason, this one really drew me in because it had a bunch of things that I really, really enjoyed. So it's got your like bookshop owner, right, talking about the intricacies of owning her own small business and how she runs her bookshop and putting together subscription boxes and the types of things that she includes in those boxes and things like that. She also goes to a knit night. And so there's a little bit of knitting, there's some talk about teas, and there is a ghost hunting TV show in town looking for a place to film. And so all of those things, being things that I really enjoy, were included in this story. And that just made this experience so much more exciting for me. I mean, it really is like your standard cozy mystery. There's nothing really special about the story itself, like the investigation and stuff. I would even say that our main character's investigative skills are not too polished. There were a couple of times where she was asking questions and trying to get information where it wasn't very suave. It was very blatant. You knew, like as the person who was expected to answer the question, that she was fishing for information. And I think I've told you before that I really don't like when the amateur sleuths don't try to work questions in during like conversation and that they're not so suave about it. I like when their investigative style is a little bit more polished, a little bit more not so obvious, you know. And this one was... There were times, I wouldn't say all the time, but there were times where it was just a little bit cringy. And there is like a sub-storyline where she's trying to figure out who her biological father is. Because her mom was a single parent and she was raised by her grandparents, I'm sorry. And so, yeah, there's another storyline that deals with that. But as far as like your standard cozy mystery, this was a standard cozy mystery. There were no real surprises about it, but like I said, the inclusion of things, including talk about how she runs her bookshop, the talk about tea, the fact that she goes to a knit night, and there was talk about knitting and techniques and things like that. And then you've got this like ghost hunter TV show that's in town looking for a place to film. Those are all things that I really enjoy, and it just made this one really, really enjoyable. So I don't know, like, if it's just because it's been a while since I've read a cozy. I can't even remember, like, how long it's been since I've read a cozy. I want to say the last cozy I read was Apple Cider Slaying by Julie and Lindsay. But I think I read that last year around this time. I think that was the last cozy mystery. I can't remember. But like I used to read cozy mysteries back to back to back. I'd be reading, you know, several series at a time. And I think just the fact that I've been like, you know, stepping away from cozies and, you know, trying to explore other things because cozies started to become very predictable for me, and I started to get really, really picky about how the amateur sleuth acted and how she asked questions and things like that, where it started to become really unenjoyable for me to read cozies anymore. So I think now that I've stepped away and I'm not reading them so frequently, it's made the ability for me to enjoy cozy mysteries easier, because now I'm not as picky. I mean, there are still things that bother me, like I had mentioned about how, she was asking questions really unsuavely. Those things still bother me, but they don't bother me as much as they did when I was reading cozies regularly. So I actually really enjoyed this one. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next installment. Unfortunately, this one was published this year, and that means I have to wait. So yeah, I normally don't read things that are published same year. So I normally don't have this problem, but I'm glad that I got in on this read along, because I ended up really, really enjoying this one. And I'm definitely going to be continuing with that one. So I ended up giving that one 4 stars and looking forward to the next one. And then the other book that I finished was my physical book, and that is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. So this is a story about a guy who works for a company who deals with, kind of estate stuff and end of life type of things. And he ends up being the representative of their firm to go to settle the final arrangements of a woman who has been their client. So he ends up going to her town and settling her affairs and, attending a funeral and things like that. And he ends up getting to this town, and when people start asking him, why are you here? And he says they kind of avoid him at all costs. And so eventually he figures out that there's kind of this malevolent spirit, and people don't want to talk about it. And at first he kind of doesn't believe it, but then he starts having personal experience, and it affects his life. And so this is supposed to be a classic ghost story. It kind of starts you off where you meet our main character, and it is after the events that have happened to him, which have changed his life. And then it goes backwards in time and takes you through everything that happened while he was trying to take care of this woman's final affairs. I did not enjoy this book. It is 164 pages. It took me almost all week, I think, to finish. It was not suspenseful. It wasn't scary. I did not want to read this. I should have DNF'd it. It was pretty uneventful. Even when he first meets the spirit or sees the spirit for the first time, I have read some other people's reviews, and they have said that was really scary. It affected them. It didn't affect me at all. And there wasn't enough suspense to, I guess, get me into the story. On top of that, the writing for this story feels like the story should be historical. It doesn't actually tell you when this story takes place, I don't believe. But it feels like it's historical. And I don't do well with historical stories. They tend not to be very enjoyable for me and pretty boring. And that's exactly how I felt about this. There wasn't anything too eventful. It played on a trope that I really don't enjoy also, which is the fact that everybody in this town knows what our main character is seeing, and they know other things that could potentially keep him safe, but they keep all of that information to themselves. And I hate that trope. I absolutely hate that trope. It doesn't serve anything for me as far as storytelling goes. That just made the whole situation irritating for me and did not add to suspense. It just added irritation. And so, yeah. I will say that the last like couple chapters in here is where like the action kind of part starts picking up, where you have more interactions with the spirit. Still wasn't really scary though. And I don't like how this one ended. The ending was very abrupt. I don't even understand like why this story was set up in the way where you meet our character after everything has happened and then you go back. It would have been better if they had moved that section from the front to the very end where he's kind of like reflecting. You know, there were just a bunch of things in here that I didn't enjoy. I will say there should be a trigger warning in here for child death. And so if you are somebody who's triggered by that, there is a couple instances in here of child death being talked about. And so, yeah, I don't think I'd watch this as a movie, because I think if I saw it, it would definitely be more scary, especially with, you know, technology and things. And I'm not into that. But the story didn't give my imagination enough to give me any kind of thrill or chill or suspenseful feeling or anything like that. It pretty much read as a historical kind of contemporary type story with a little bit of a supernatural element. And so, yeah, I ended up giving this one 2 stars. I should have DNF'd it, but by the time that I figured out I should have DNF'd it, I already felt like I had read too much to DNF it, and I should just finish it off. I knew pretty early that this was just going to be a 2-star read, and I always struggle, you know, if I know that it's going to be a 2-star read, do you just drop it? Do you read the rest? Because for me, like, this one is so short. It didn't take a lot of effort to finish, but it took a lot of, like, will, I guess. Because there were a couple nights where I was like, I'm not in the mood to read that, and I didn't. And so I ended up not reading anything because I was like, I have to finish this, but I don't want to. So, yeah, 2 stars. Very disappointing. This is a book that I have wanted to read for several years during October, and I finally read it, and it was just a huge letdown. So unfortunately, this one was not for me. So with that, I was finally able to start 2 more books. So to replace The Woman in Black, I started Feed by Mira Grant. This is, from what I can understand, a like zombie story. It says the year was 2014. We had cured cancer, we had beaten the common cold, but in doing so we had created something new, something terrible that no one could stop. The infection spread, virus blocks taking over bodies and minds with one unstoppable command: feed. Now 20 years after the Rising, Georgia and Sean Mason are on the trail of the biggest story of their lives, the dark conspiracy behind the infected. The truth will out, even if it kills them. So I had heard my friend Jem from The Creepy Geek talk about this one a couple months ago. And I have had this book on my shelves for years. And she really enjoyed this one. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go pull it out. Well, I did. And it is kind of got a familiar feeling to me. Now, I've never read anything by Mira Grant or Shauna Maguire, who's her other name. But the whole like aspect of like this world feels very familiar to me from what I've read so far. So I've only read 2 chapters. I'm up to page 30 right now. And it feels very much, the world feels very much like the Benny Imura series by Jonathan Mayberry. So that series starts with Rotten Ruin. And I really, really enjoyed that series. So I'm kind of like almost feeling like I'm going to be comparing that series to this one because I haven't read very many zombie stories either. In fact, I believe the Benny Imura series was the only zombie series I have read. So I think I've got to try really hard not to make too many comparisons, but with just the opening 2 chapters of this, it felt very familiar to scenes that I had read in the Benny Imura series. So I've kind of taken a little bit of a break from this. One, because I don't want to compare too much. Benny Imura series I read several years ago, a really, really long time. In fact, I was buddy reading it with my friend Raul over at Latin Lector. And we really, really enjoyed the series a lot. But it's still like so fresh in my memory that I still remember things that had happened there. And I'm thinking about them when I've been reading these 2 chapters. So I'm going to put this one down for a little bit. Like I said, because I don't want to compare too much, right? But the other reason is our manga club meeting is this week, and I have to read those selections, and so that should give me the break that I need to come back to this story, kind of with a better prepared perspective on reading this story and trying not to compare it to that other one, and so yeah. I'm actually looking forward to reading another zombie story because, like I said, I've only read the Benny Imura series and I really enjoyed it, but for whatever reason, I've never picked up another zombie story ever. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to experiencing this one. Plus, I know this writer is well loved, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what I think of their writing. And so, yeah, I started that one. And then the audiobook that I started in place of the Chaos in the Lazy Bones bookshop was Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel. So this one is by A.W. Jantha. And so the first part of this book is actually the Hocus Pocus story, the one that from the movie. And then the second part of the book takes place 25 years later when we meet Max and Addison's kid, and they are in high school, and I believe they are going to have a run-in with the Sanderson sisters. So I just hit that part now. I didn't realize that this book had Hocus Pocus in the beginning and then the sequel, and so I actually really enjoyed the first part of this book because I haven't watched Hocus Pocus yet this year, and it was just like what I remember of the movie. Very, very similar. But you don't have, all of the music with Bette Midler singing, them doing that performance at the party that the parents were at and the singing. In the audiobook, it's just kind of narrated to you. It's not sung. And so definitely a little bit of a different feel. But I still really enjoyed experiencing the Hocus Pocus story through audiobook. Now, the audiobook narrator for this book is actually the same audiobook narrator for the Ghost Hunter Mystery series that I finished rereading this year by Victoria Laurie. So that was really fun finding that out. And I'm really enjoying her narration of the story. So like I said, I just started the second part where we're meeting Max and Addison's kid. And I'm only on the second chapter of that part. So I'm on page 214. Really, really enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to the new material. So I'm going to continue listening to this one this week. But yes, really, really enjoyable. Looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. And so that is everything that I've read this week, everything that I'm currently reading. And so I guess that brings us to another Yarnie update. And so before I talk to you about my Knitalong project, I'll talk to you about what I'm wearing, because I am wearing a hand knit item. This is my Arachne sweater. It's a pattern that was done by Andy Satterland. Unfortunately, this pattern is no longer available to purchase. And so I'm glad that I was able to purchase it when it was available, and I've created this sweater. This is the only day that I could wear it this month because unfortunately next week is already going to be hot again. And so I thought I'd wear it today so that I could wear it at least once during the October season or Halloween season. And yeah, it is a little warm for me today. So yeah, pulled out my Arachne sweater to wear, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a little bit gappy up here in the neckline because unfortunately I hung it up on a hanger, and you're not supposed to do that. I know, but it stretched out the neckline a little bit, and so that'll bounce back when I wash it and reblock it and everything. But it's a little bit gappy right now, but that's what happened. It got a little bit stretched out on the hanger, but it's okay. Perfectly okay. I really enjoy this sweater. I would definitely make another one. But unfortunately, it's just not cold enough in October to be wearing sweaters. So if I made another one, I would definitely make it short sleeves. This is 3/4. I have it pushed up a little bit, but I made it 3/4. And it's an enjoyable sweater to wear. I really love the look, especially having that silver web with the navy. So yeah, I enjoy this one a lot, and definitely recommend if you had purchased the pattern to make yourself one. If you haven't already, I enjoyed this make a lot. And so that's my hand knit item of the day. And now let's talk about my Incantation socks for the Knitalong portion of that Readalong Knitalong. So I have made a little bit of progress on this, but I have not finished the first sock yet. So this is where I'm at right now. So the ghosty here is where I was at the last time I talked to you. So I was able to put in the heel, and now I'm working my way down the foot. And I have got about 10 rows before I put in the toe. So I'm almost there. I'm really loving the way this sock is looking. It did do a little bit of pooling over here as I was doing the gusset decreases. It changed how the yarn was pooling. And so you can kind of see up here in the leg that it was kind of striping, right? But now it's like kind of pooling a little bit. So you've got like a green section, and then on the other side is the purple and orange kind of micro striping. And so now they're kind of switching sides. So now I've got the green pooling here with the purple micro striping on this side. So I'm still really loving how this is looking. And I think that nice like electric purple gives that heel a nice pop. And so there was a moment where I was kind of thinking about the fact that maybe I didn't want the purple heel. I wasn't too sure about it, if I'm honest. I almost changed to like a sour apple green. But I'm glad that I put the purple in. It's a nice pop there. And I think it accents the purple tones in this yarn really nicely. So again, this is the Incantation sock pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. This was the Sockoween patron sock pattern, but it is available separately, and she had re-released it recently to kind of make the formatting of the pattern look more like their patterns now, because the Incantation socks was one of her earlier patterns. So because she did that, she re-released it as a free patron pattern for the patrons participating in Sockoween. And it was actually one that I had already purchased previously. So I already had the pattern in my library. I just never knit it. So I thought this is a good opportunity to do so. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, 4-row, easy, memorizable pattern repeat. And so I should be done with sock 1. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, but very soon. Really enjoying this one. And so the yarn, again, that I'm using for the heel, Cascade Heritage in this like purpley color. I don't know what color number that is, but really nice electric violet. And then this is Lolodidit's Plush Sock in the Witch's Brew colorway. really, really enjoyable. And so, yeah, I am just working along. I just did a plain slip stitch heel, square heel turn, which is my normal, and really, really enjoying it. So I should have a finished sock for you next week. And hopefully I'll have good progress on my second sock to be able to have a pair done by the end of October. So we'll see how that goes. But that is the only knitting project I've worked on this week. So now let's open up my Twilight Countdown to Halloween yarn. So this was Thursday's skein, October 17th. And so this is a Twilight inspired countdown to Halloween, full skein every week leading up to Halloween from Fangirl Fibers. So I got the countdown in the Skin of a Killer base. I call it Skin of a Killer base, but it's her Sparkle Sock base, because I thought, you know, if you're going to get Twilight yarn, it has to be on Sparkle Sock, because it has to. And so this week's yarn, ooh, this week's yarn, oh, is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Definitely my favorite so far. And this one is called Say It Out Loud. So again, another line from the movie. Ooh. This is Say It Out Loud. It's got those tones from the scene of the movie. And if you know me, you know that these are my colors. Absolutely love this skein. Definitely my favorite. But I will say that all of these skeins so far have been memorable for me, as far as where they are set in the movie, what's happening at that time during the movie, and what the scene looks like. And so I'm very, very happy with this one. Oh, this is such a gorgeous, gorgeous skein. I love this one. Oh, definitely my favorite of the three so far. So that's Say It Out Loud from the Twilight collection from Fangirl Fibers. So I've been very happy with the skein so far. I think I could probably pair this one with Don't Hate the Truck, which was the first week, because that one has teal tones in it. And if you remember me talking about this countdown collection, I think 3 of the mood boards looked like they would be able to go together. So we'll see if that's actually the case once I finish opening up all 5 skeins. But I have 2 more skeins to go. And so I'm really, really happy with this collection. And I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with the skeins. So that concludes the Yarnie update section. And then I guess now we're just going to update you on what's been going on with me this week. So we did actually watch a Halloween movie finally. We watched Casper. Daughter really wanted to watch Casper, and it's been a while since we watched Casper. And so we watched Casper, really enjoyed it. Definitely had a couple of cameos that I had forgotten about. And so I really, really enjoyed rewatching Casper. We haven't been able to watch another Halloween movie since. There are definitely a couple that we'd like to watch, but there are just so many like TV shows out right now that I'm having a hard time keeping track of when they're all on and what days to watch them and things. And because we don't do the live TV, we do streaming service. When they come up on the schedule, they're not available to watch until the next day. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to like figure out, okay, when can I watch this? And sometimes I'm going and I'm looking and I'm like, how come it's not there? And so there are just so many right now. So many. And so, yeah, it makes it hard to find the time to watch anything but the stuff that is on TV week to week to week. So yeah, we're only able to watch Casper so far. We're hoping to watch a couple more at least before the month is over. But yeah, daughter and I are continuing to create content for our gaming channel. So we filmed again yesterday. We kind of do a film on Fridays, and I just am holding like the videos because depending on what we're doing for the videos, I either need to lightly edit it or more heavily edit it. So like if we're doing villager hunting, I do more heavy edits to cut out all like the redundancy of the talking at the Dodo Airlines counter and things like that can easily be cut out because it's the same every time type of thing. So it will cut down on the time of the video. But the videos are very long. I'm still really, really enjoying our journey for that RPG challenge. It's definitely going to be a long challenge, I think. But that's kind of what I was looking for, a long-term type of challenge. And so we're really enjoying it. And it's definitely been something that has lifted my spirits and that I look forward to every day and to filming, which I will say that sometimes filming for this channel, it gets a little bit tedious for me. There are days like today where it took a lot for me to finally like get myself in gear and get these videos filmed. But when I'm filming for those videos, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm raring to go. I'm really excited. And so there's obviously a difference. But it's not that I don't enjoy sitting down here and filming and talking to you about the books that I've finished reading and stuff. It's just, I don't know, I guess with like this week, I had a real dud of a book, right? And I wasn't looking forward to talking about it because I don't have anything good to say, right? I didn't have anything good to say about that book. And when it comes to things like that, it kind of makes it not so exciting for me to come in and talk to you about, right? So, yeah. Plus, I've been doing this for a long time. And sometimes if there's nothing like really exciting to share with you, I kind of feel bad, But yeah, was able to get here and, talk you through my week. And, it is kind of, for lack of a better term, therapeutic, right? Because I do call these my diary entries, and it's a way for me to like get out my thoughts on things that have happened to me throughout the week. And so my thoughts on my reads and the thoughts on the things that I'm working on and just sharing with you like those things. And it really does help. I've never been one to like write in a diary, but like here sitting with you, talking to you, it feels like I'm kind of having a conversation with somebody about it. And so it's really helpful for me. It's just sometimes it takes a lot to get me to this chair. Once I'm here though, I enjoy talking, I enjoy it. It's just the motivation to get myself going is difficult sometimes. But once I'm here, it's much easier. Like it's not difficult for me at all. Like I enjoy what I've shared and stuff. But when there's stuff that aren't too exciting, it's a little bit more difficult because I hate, talking about things that I don't care for. But, sometimes you have to because maybe it might help somebody else. Maybe, somebody else will agree with your thoughts and they think that they're the odd man out, like how I feel most of the time. And that by me sharing and maybe somebody else having the same experience, they don't feel so alone in their thoughts, And so, yeah. After that little bit of a ramble, my work issue finally got fixed. I finally heard back and was given the green light to work however many hours I need to get the work done. So that that was really helpful. Of course, I didn't find out until my last day of work this week. And so next week should feel a lot better for me. Things should go back to normal. And so, yeah, I would say this week, other than the fact that I had kind of a dud of a book, was mostly good. It was mostly good. The temperatures were much cooler this week, but like I said, next week they are going back up. So I was able to enjoy a little bit of a reprieve. I enjoyed one of the books that I read. I'm enjoying another of the books that I've started. The other book I picked up feels familiar, so I should enjoy that. And we've got our manga club meeting this week, so that's always enjoyable. I just got to read all of the manga. So, yeah. All in all, I think this week was much better. And so I'm glad of that. I just need to find the time to watch some Halloween movies. I think that will just put the icing on the month, because I always love this time of the year, and I love watching Halloween movies and reading, more Halloween vibe type books, but I just never have enough time to do it. So if I can find the time to do it, that'll just make everything that much better. And so I think that's where I'm going to leave you for today. So let me know down in the comments below what you've been working on, what you've been reading, what you've been watching. Are you participating in the Readalong, Knitalong? And if so, what did you think of the book, and what project are you working on? What pair of socks are you working on? I would really love to know. Again, a reminder that if you're interested in my daughters and my Animal Crossing RPG Challenge Edit journey, you can definitely check that out on our gaming channel, which I have linked down in the description box below. But if nothing else, and you would just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a spider web emoji for my Arachne sweater down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.